B and reverses it in. Reed, that is so clever. Wickham, of course, she's the one to deliver. It is a massive win, the scheme of this competition.
It's game 2 of a top-of-the-table 2-game series in far north Queensland. The Townsville Fire hosting the Perth Lynx as the jostling for final spots continues to pick up pace. The reigning champion Fire is setting a cracking pace once more. They sit 1 game clear on top of the Cygnett WNBL ladder after storming away late to take game 1 of this series on New Year's Eve. Now the Perth Lynx will be looking to hit back after that final quarter fade-out as they fight to protect their place inside the top 2. It's first versus second, round 10 action. The Fire and the Lynx on your home of hoops, ESPN. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year and welcome to ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford. Jason Bennett alongside 4-time WNBL champion Kelsey Griffin for part 2 of this Wednesday night doubleheader. Kels, 4 of the top 5 teams all in action. We've just seen the Boomers and the Flyers go at it at the Boombox in an incredible game and an important one.
It really was. And I think this season is going to come down to head-to-heads. And, man, the Boomers came back and really battled to get that game.
What an amazing game. The Flyers got the jump. They led by 9 points early. Melbourne fought back, tied it up. The Flyers out to a 13-point lead in the second term. Melbourne 0 for 12 from 3-point range at the half. They trailed by 11 points, down by as much as 13 in the third, Kels. Then Melbourne found their range. 5 of 8 3-pointers in the third term, got in front at three-quarter time and hung on for an incredible win.
This is almost becoming a hallmark for Melbourne. They get down, but they never go away, and they're winning close games, and that's what you want to be able to be a championship contending team, being able to close out games regardless of what's happened before, wearing the runs and getting back into it.
18 points to Jordan Canada, a career high 17 for Mon Conti, Mercedes Russell with a double 17 points as well. And here's what it means to the ladder. Melbourne jumped from 5th to 3rd. Massive for them.
It really is. And like I said, I think it's going to come down to that head-to-head. And you can kind of see there's almost a gridlock in that, really top spot. So a huge, huge win. I mean, there's a lot of season left, but definitely a big win in where we are in the season right now.
At the top, Perth with a chance to level Townsville tonight, or the Fire to kick 2 games clear on top of the table. As we welcome the 3rd member of our WNBL Wednesday commentary team this evening, it's Happy New Year and good evening to Megan Huswaite, who's courtside. And Megsy, a new face for the Perth Lynx this evening.
Happy New Year from beautiful Townsville and a new face for Perth Lynx tonight. It is Tage Morrell. It's been 1,432 days in between WNBL games for the former Bendigo Spirit import. She is waiting on permanent residency here in Australia, but her opportunity has come up to replace injured import Ari McDonald, so it's a bit of a like-for-like, import for import. So she's back on court in the WNBL tonight. 2 milestones here at the Fire Pit. We'll start with Zatina Okuso, who brings up game number 100 in the WNBL. And for the Townsville Fire, she's won 2 championships with Townsville and was 6th Woman of the Year in the 2020 Hub season. And Annalee Maley brings up game 100 at her 5th club, of course, league MVP in 21-22, but she made her debut with the Adelaide Lightning in 2017 as a teenager. And it could be a big year for both of those ladies who are in the Opal squad heading into Olympic qualifiers next month in Brazil.
Indeed, thanks, Megs. Well, if you didn't see game 1 of this Fire Lynx back-to-back series, you could be forgiven for thinking it was a comfortable night at the office for Townsville. That final 24-point margin, Kels, a little deceptive. It was just 5 points of difference with 7 minutes to play. Townsville found another gear.
And that's what Townsville does. I mean, to compete with them, you have to play 40 minutes of basketball. And I reckon it was only probably a 3 to 4 minute stretch. And Townsville just put the threes on. They collapsed the D through penetration, and they have shooters everywhere. And speaking of shooters, Sammy Whitcomb came in big with 6 clutch threes.
26 points for Whitcomb. Courtney Woods, 21 points on 4 or 5 3-point shooting. If Whitcomb doesn't get you, Woods will, and if Woods doesn't, Reed will.
And that's someone, Courtney Woods probably doesn't get the recognition that she deserves. She just does not make mistakes. She is such a level-headed player. She plays at her own pace. She doesn't get sped up, and she knocks down open threes. A huge, huge person that used to come off the bench, but has slotted in very easily to that starting spot.
And at the defensive end of the floor for the Fire, they held the Lynx, the #1 ranked attack in the competition. They averaged 86 points a game. They held them to 64 on 38% field goal shooting and forced them into 18 turnovers.
And I think that's the thing when, you know, Perth is looking at making adjustments. You can either make offensive adjustments or defensive adjustments. And Perth is used to scoring in the 80s, and so quite the defensive effort. But for me, I really think Perth should look offensively. How can they get themselves going in the absence of Ari? And one way, getting to the foul line. Can they put pressure on Townsville's defense through fouling? Also, being able to increase their transition points, getting out and running. Perth likes an up-tempo game. They probably want to speed up the game. That's what they like, a lot of possessions. Can they score in transition? But then also limit their turnovers. And that's really the caveat, because when you have a great offensive team like Townsville, if you're giving them the ball, they're gonna convert. And they had 22 points. And so I think that's going to be really important. Can they play fast but take care of the ball?
Offensively, the entire offense was built around Ari McDonald, so it's going to take a bit of time. It might get ugly worse before it gets better for Perth. So they're going to have to implement some new looks and new systems. They don't have another pure point guard, do they? The likes of Chippertoni and Forster and Goodchild are probably more shooting guards than point guards. So do you expect to see a different balance in the ball handling, for example, tonight?
I do, and I think, you know, in some ways that's just kick ahead. You don't have a point guard offense, you kick ahead and play, and I think Perth does really well when they play free. But I think for me, it's actually, can they get Amy Atwell going with off-ball screening? So down screens, flare screens, turnout screens, get her defender, just that separate. She doesn't need a lot of separation, and get her going early. So I would see less on-ball actions to create collapsing, but actually off-ball actions to get her going.
Two of the great young coaches in Australian basketball, the last two WNBL coaches of the year, head-to-head Shannon Seabohm, who's won the award on 3 occasions in 14, 20 and 22, and then Ryan Petrick, who won it in 2021. Both very analytical coaches. Kels, you've played against both of them a lot. They both think about the game. They both stay up at night working strategies and coming up with things. So we know for Ryan Petrick, he's going to implement some things. It's going to be interesting to see, does he do them tonight or does he hold them back? He's got games against Adelaide and Canberra to come.
Well, and Ryan's a really, like you said, analytical coach. And, you know, he talks about needing the must-win games. You know, he talks about games that you need to win to be able to put yourself in a position to make finals. And that shows that he's found a winning recipe, because he often finds himself in finals. So it will be interesting to see how many adjustments we see tonight, or does he save them in his back pocket?
The Cygnett WNBL's top two teams clash for the second time in 4 days. Perth keen to bounce back and join the Fire at the top. Townsville can kick 2 games clear. Round 10 action, the Fire and the Lynx. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford from the Fire pit in Townsville. And it will be a Perth ball off the out of bounds. Emily Maley playing game 100 tonight. Tina Akuso 100 for the Fire. In the hands of 12. Chippertoni averaging 14 minutes a game, played 28 on Sunday night. So she's one of the players who'll be soaking up McDonald's minutes. Potter. There's Atwell. There's Maley. The two they were talking about, and starts well.
And that's a huge three. I don't know if that's necessarily what Ryan drew up. It looked like he was trying to post up Chippertoni, but he ended up getting a 3 at the end of that play.
So here's Reed and Whitcomb. So they collapsed in on Steph Reed when she was playing the pick and rolls on Sunday night, and that left Whitcomb open in the corner a lot, and she really made them pay. Are you expecting to see something different tonight?
Yeah, because I think that's what Townsville tries to bait you into, over-helping and get out to their shooters for feet set three-point shots. So it'll be interesting. I doubt Ryan will keep the same game plan.
It's very much pick your poison when you play Townsville. Got so many weapons. You look to shut one down, someone else pops up. Courtney Wood's one of those, can't finish on that occasion. Away comes Chippertoni to Maley. League MVP in 2021. It's it back from Chippertoni, now off to Atwell. Potter, who's been impressive. Good start here for the Lynx. They've got the first 5 points.
And they're playing aggressive. They're playing really aggressive. And that's what they'll need to do for 40 minutes offensively, is not doubt themselves, keep attacking.
Reed pulls out to set up. Chippertoni got the guarding job on her early. There is the corner shot.
Already you can see a different ball screen defense. They were hard hedging before. Now they're sagging off, packing the paint. So they're definitely protecting the paint.
Maley gets past Roof.
That was a great in and out dribble by Maley. She's being aggressive early.
We couldn't have dreamed of a better start. First 7 points for Perth. Woods around to Akuso. Tries to get to the rack. Can't finish. So Tina pulls down the O board and the finish.
And Satina's improved so much in being patient on her finishes. You can tell Shannon's really worked and developed that part of her game with her.
Career season, Tina Akuzo. There's a board at the other end of the court. Apologies for the shot clock. We're working on that at the moment. Woods, Akuzo, back to Courtney. Goes baseline, lovely feed through to Roof.
Great pass. Even though there's 3 Perth players in the key, Woods was able to make that pass to Mick.
Bailey to Chibatoni. Bailey to Foreman. Elite defender has the job on Whitcomb early. Here's Atwell having a super year.
And already you can see from Perth a lot more pin down screens instead of ball screens.
Kick ahead pass is good, and Michaela finishes.
Not often known for running in transition, but that's something that Townsville does effectively. They pick and choose. They're a methodical team, but they do run for opportunity, and Mick was rewarded by Courtney Wood's pass on that.
Great vision, beautifully weighted for Michaela.
She's just a workhorse. She does all the little things. Michaela Roof.
Can't get the extra. Shannon Seaborn can't speak highly enough of Michaela. Sort of player who makes those around her better. Kels?
She really does.
Atwell. They need Amy from long range tonight. She has been sizzling this season from the outside the arc.
And that's going to be the key for Perth. Can they push in transition to get the collapsing instead of off ball screens?
She's 21 of 40 in her last 4 and a bit games now from three-point range, so shooting it better than 50%. And we know that the three ball is such an important part of Perth's DNA.
Yeah, and it has been for a really long time. And Ryan recruits for that. He wants three-point shooters around his offense.
Kuzo almost throws it away, but Reed keeps it alive. Whitcomb. Forced into a late shot and or pass. Good defensive set there from Perth.
And you can see the adjustments they've made. They're protecting the paint. They're not allowing that overhelp.
Tony brings it down the floor. She's got Potter steaming towards the basket. That leaves Maley all alone from long range. Away comes Sammy Whitcomb.
Interesting. So they're hard showing with Sammy, but they're going to jam and help off everyone else. Drops and help off everyone else. So they're switching up. Who's coming off ball screens depends on how they're going to defend Perth.
Megsy, we're talking about Tina Akuzo, 100th game tonight, having a career year.
She sure is. Kelsey spoke about her improvement, and I spoke about her with Amanda Zoe Bay, who plays with one of the best fives in the WNBA in Elia Boston. And Amanda said that Satina's trajectory is just limitless in what she can achieve. A bit hard to get a word in as this frenetic play continues.
Atwell, thanks, Megs. Atwell tried to keep that one alive and prevent the backcourt violation. In the end, it's a foul. Here's another look. The broken play. Maley left it behind. Atwell, good heads up to try and keep it alive.
Quite the knee power slide, getting the most out of those knee pads from Courtney Woods.
And the foul sends Steph Reed to the line. 85% free throw shooter, 22 of 29 this season. Just does the fundamentals so well.
Talk about another player that's been developed by Shannon. You know, her growth over the last few years really put herself in contention for opals, and that might not have always been, might have always been her hope or her dream, but you can tell the time that she spent in Townsville has just helped her immensely to develop the game that she needs to be a true point guard, which are honestly rare because it's hard. Point guards have to sacrifice a lot. Oftentimes they're not the leading scorers, but if you play with a great point guard, you know that they're the difference maker. It might not show up on a stat sheet, but Steph can fill up a stat sheet.
And Steph may get the chance tonight if they do lock down hard on Whitcomb and Woods. Reed might get more opportunities. Roof, Akuzo, here is Courtney against Atwell. Help from the back came from Potter and ends up in the hands of Ruth, and she finishes.
She just hangs around, always puts herself in a position to get boards, McRoof.
Back to a one-point game. Atwell. It's good.
Man, that is tough. She makes tough shots look easy. Never sped up. So smooth.
Over the hand of the defender. They're back up by 4. Move to Reed around Akuzo. Finds a lane. drop. Away comes Potter to Maley. Chipatoni. Back to Annalee. Potter. Long two. Woods. Roof. Inside ball. Akuzo turns, works on Potter, who wins that battle.
It's interesting, unless it's Sammy in the pick and roll, Potter's hanging out in the key, so they're really trying to protect that keyway with Potter. I think defensively Perth is.
Well over the defender again, this time it's off the iron. Whitcomb to Roof, and now Woods. Gets past Atwell.
It's great recognition by Courtney Woods. She turned the corner and there was no defender there, just went all the way to the basket.
So goes.
It's not something you often see, a center-to-center showcase from the top of the key.
She's got some tricks, Emily Potter.
She does. There's quite a Canadian connection, really, with Australia. I'm very fond of the Canadians that I've gotten to play with.
Emily, part of the Canadian national team. They won bronze at the America Cup last season. Actually from Winnipeg. Played college ball at Utah. Has a good look, rolls around and drops.
Substitution for the Lynx on the shooter. Coming onto the court for the first time.
Let's head courtside to Megs.
Number 5, Ashley Hannah.
Mila Goodchild into the game for the first time, and we've seen this fabulous mask she's been wearing the last couple of weeks. She copped tap on the nose from Mackenzie Clinch-Hoycart at training and has had 2 procedures on it, but interested to know from Kelsey what it's like having the blinkers on.
Look, it's she's doing well to continue to wear it. I think she's got big plans for that nose coming up and has to look quite nice for her upcoming wedding. So I think when you've been married for 10 years, you don't worry about the face mask as much.
Long three from Whitcomb won't drop. Ismaili versus Whitcomb. Annalee spins. Tough finish, draws a foul. So 6 minutes into the game, Kels, what have you made of the Perth adjustments at both ends of the floor?
Big adjustments, huge adjustments. So defensively, they're essentially saying, everyone else, we want to turn the corner, see what you can do in the paint, or trust you shooting a long three behind a ball screen, whereas Sammy's getting a hard show. So they're switching it up, not letting them get comfortable. But then on the offensive end, you're virtually seeing 0 ball screens. It's all off-screen action. So it's pin downs, curl cuts. We saw an early attempt at a post-up on Steph Reed, but they haven't gone back to that. So it's looking like they're trying to get that action off of off-ball actions instead of on-ball actions, which is a great adjustment.
Annalee Maley up to 8 points, leads the game. Atwell's got 6. 6 also for Roof. Just 1 shot so far for Sammy Whitcomb through the first 6 minutes of the game. Here's Cassandra Brown into the game. Reed receives from Zawi B. Scurries her way to the rack. Again, doesn't finish, but Zawi B in good position.
And that's what's so hard when you're in deep drops. You can often, Steph Reed can draw 2, and even if she misses it, a big's there to clean up the O glass.
Hannon into the action with Goodchild. Clinch-Hoycart turns it over and away comes Woods. Got Reed to the right, heads there now while read by Maley, off hands. Perth ball.
That was a great hustle play to get herself back into that and tip the ball off Townsville to get the turnover.
Ashley Hannon. Back to Annalee. Draws the foul and 1.
That's almost becoming a signature move for Annalee Maley, the back down, turnaround, fadeaway to the middle of the key. Tough finish, very tough shot.
Averaged 20 points a game in her MVP season a couple of years ago, so she is well capable. Obviously getting a lot more shots back then in that Bendigo side than she has been with Perth, with McDonald, but with Airy out of the lineup now, more looks for Annalee.
Yeah, and I think that's where, the offensive production has to come from everybody. It probably can't come from one player, but you can definitely see in this game, Bailey's been super aggressive from the tip, and that's what they're going to need for them to try to get into that 80s mark. That's their typical average scoring.
Double-double for her on Sunday night against the Fire, 18 and 13 rebounds. Here's Reed. Good child with the job on her right now. Woods. Dangerous from long range. Works off Atwell. Travel.
That was really good one-on-one defense from Amy Atwell as well. And Perth is going to need that. In order to beat Townsville, you have to play a good one-on-one defense, because what they want you to do is collapse so they can find their shooters. And so far, Perth has done a pretty good job of not over-helping.
Good job. Shows. Draws a foul.
Being aggressive. Being aggressive, getting to the foul line. So the adjustment that I was expecting Perth to see if they wanted to be competitive in this game, and they're doing it very, very well.
So it's a bit of a baptism of fire for Mila Goodchild. She came off the bench last year and was sensational for the Boomers and earned herself a contract there and at Perth this year, having been overlooked when she came back from university at Duke. No WNBL contract, so she flew herself down to Melbourne and got a deal from Melbourne. But now, having more minutes in a much more prominent role as she collides with Whitcomb, and no. Sammy goes down.
That looks like an ankle. Oh, no. I think that was just unfortunate. Sammy, I think, stepped on her foot, rolled her ankle.
Hopefully she can just walk it off. Here's another look. Yeah, it's so often when players step on each other's feet, that's the damage is done. Satina straight across to check on her. And here's Sammy just walking it off. She's going to stay out there.
Sammy's been playing a few games like myself. We probably both don't have any ligaments left, so it just stings for a bit and you just walk it off. So you're lucky you've snapped most of them, so you don't have to worry about them anymore.
Incredible career she's had.
She really has.
Game number 129 this year. The 35-year-old. Just an incredible story.
35 years young.
Yeah, incredible. Undrafted out of college and went to Germany and then was looking for another European opportunity. Nothing came up, so she ended up playing NBL 1 for Rockingham, and from there ended up on the Perth Lynx. And look at the career she's had since. Played for Australia and just phenomenal.
My goodness, no one will forget her first season out here. She was absolutely incredible, and she hasn't let off ever since.
Reed, and there is Whitcomb. Collision with Hannon. Fire fans appreciate that call. Let's go to Megs.
Sammy Whitcomb going down there, no doubt, sent a shiver through the Opals program. We know that there's a lot of injuries amongst the 20-player squad at the moment, and we are going to talk to one of those injured squad members, Alice Kunek, at halftime, so it'll be great to see where she's at in terms of her return to Townsville, but also her availability for the qualifiers next month in Brazil.
Yeah, great point, Megs, with the likes of Christy Wallace and Tess Madgen and even Lauren Jackson all in that squad. Zoe B almost creates the turnover. Bodies hit the floor. Atwell goes down. Foul called.
This is really impressive from the Lynx. You know, we're talking about 2 days, really, of a turnaround, and the complete different style that they're playing at. You know, they're coming off these screens, turning the corner hard, getting to the foul line, creating contact, figuring out a way to get feet in the paint that isn't ball screen dominant, which has been their key to success through Amy McDonald up until she was injured.
Held to 64 points on Sunday night. They're already up to 20 with 2 minutes to play in the opening term. Adjustments working so far.
Yeah, it'd certainly be the pace and the scoring production that Patrick would be expecting or used to from his Perth Lynx teams.
Fire tend to play a slow and steady and methodical tempo, Kels. The Lynx known for just being breakneck speed. They'll add speed on the ball at every opportunity. What have you made of the tempo of the opening term?
Well, I definitely think it's being played on the Lynx's terms, but in fairness to Townsville, they're probably prepared for a certain style of play, which is different. Like, this is the exciting thing. It's why you love watching finals, and the WNBL is now in a 3-game series because coaches get to make changes and adjustments.
It feels like that tonight, doesn't it?
Yes, and it becomes a chess match. So I know that Shannon Seabaum has a ton of tricks up his sleeve, so I know that they'll be having a conversation at quarter time, making some adjustments, and there's a lot of basketball left to be played.
Against Gorman, as we said, they're elite number 2 defender behind McDonald. So Steph now stepping up and getting the big job. Speaking of Steph, this is Reed. Roof. Nice step around Maley. Works herself into position. Can't finish. Picks up her own board and does finish. Michaela Roof in a nutshell.
Just working hard. Yep, that's Michaela Roof's game to a T.
Maley. There's that move that Kelsey was speaking about. This time it doesn't find the bottom of the net. And away comes Zoe B. Reed against Maley. Off hands, remain a fire ball. Frustrated Annalie Maley.
Yeah, I think at some point Shannon or one of the assistants is probably going to talk to Steph and let her know how she's being defended. She loves being defended in deep drops, so I think that we'll expect to see more snaking and more attacking, getting the big on her back.
Catch and
down
release
the stretch
from Whitcomb, just her second shot of the night. She's none for 2. Reed's none for 4, and the foul on Atwell.
And that's just a veteran play by Atwell. She felt the defender on her hip, went up, got the 3. Those a bit of an undisciplined foul call when you're trying to battle back Townsville. Those aren't the fouls that you want to give up. Amy Atwell is way too good of a shooter, way too good of a foul shooter.
So we spoke of the big 3, as it were, for Townsville. Steph Reed, Courtney Wood, Sammy Whitcomb. Between them right now, they're 1 for 10.
And so, on one hand, if you're the Fire, you're saying, hey, we're still in this game, and we haven't really gotten our big 3 going. But on the other hand, if you're the Lynx, you're saying, hey, we might have found a recipe here to be able to kind of freeze them out and make other people be the scorers.
Been Michaela Roof so far with 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting. Meanwhile, at the other end, Amy Atwell drains the first 2. She's the first player tonight in a double figure. She's got 10. Maley's got 9. And the Lynx are up by 8 with 1:25 to play in the opening term. It's a 25-17 game on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Great to have you with us. Thanks to Ford. This one coming to you from the Fire Pit in Townsville. Jason Bennett alongside 4-time champion Kelsey Griffin. Roof to Whitcomb. Here is Steph Reed from long range. Atwell on the floor again.
I was looking at Steph Reed's release on that. I didn't actually see what happened underneath the basket. But Sammy came, turned off. It almost looked to be more of a facilitator. So you can see that hard show on the on-ball is, making her want to see what else is open, which is usually the case because there's 2 being dedicated to you. But for right now, I think that's playing into Perth's hands, getting the ball out of her hands.
See Shannon Seabohm just right of screen there, chatting with Reed and Whitcomb, making some adjustments on the fly.
And that's great. That's great coaching, letting his players know how they're being defended, what's open, what plays to run, what adjustments to make. So you don't have to call a timeout. You don't have to wait to quarter time. You can give that feedback to your guards, so then you can implement it next play down the court.
And Azawi B, veterans played all over the world. This is her 10th country she's played professionally in. Roof. Away come the Lynx once again through Gorman. Atwell been busy. She and Maley really have stepped up tonight. A lot more offense through those 2. Long range shot is good from Tage Morrell.
I mean, what a pickup.
What a story. 1,400 odd days, Megs was telling us. Played 8 games for Bendigo back in 2019. She's waiting on her permanent residency to clear.
Definition of being ready.
Final 27 seconds. Whitcomb to the corner. Extra pass. Reed. Not quite dropping yet for the Fire. Foul on Zawi B, and she'll head back to the line. So Amanda Zawi Mizuku is her full name. She shortened it to fit her singlet and to make it easier for the Americans to pronounce. So she's now known professionally as Amanda Zawi B.
And what a, to have a player with her resume come to the WNBL, it's fantastic. Just goes to show the amount of talent that the WNBL is attracting to come over here and play. It's phenomenal.
Grew up in Södertälje, about 30 minutes southwest of Stockholm in Sweden. Took up basketball at the age of 10. 3 years of college in Minnesota. Picked 2 in 2015 WNBA draft by Tulsa. 235 WNBL games. So a genuine veteran, and as I mentioned, played in 10 countries around the world. Final 10 seconds of the term. Reed working on Atwell. We're down to 5. Atwell over the top, tough shot, draws the foul she was looking for, and will go to the line to shoot 3.
And that's because of who Amy Atwell is as a shooter. When you're defending her, you feel like you have to be closer because of how quick her shot release is. She demands that much attention.
Roof didn't like the call.
You never do. You never do when you foul a 3-point shooter. It's always a tough pill to swallow.
So Amy Atwell, as we mentioned, having a sensational year, her second year after a great college career at Hawaii. Came in last year, but with a calf injury in the preseason, which hampered her early, was still good for 13 points a game. She's up to 17 points a game this season.
And the special thing about Atwell is that even if maybe she hasn't had a start to a game that she likes, maybe she's missed a few shots or she's quiet, you have to respect her always when you're defending her, because she's capable of going off for 20 and a quarter. So it's one of those things that even if she's not having the night maybe she wants, you always have to respect her.
And an elite free throw shooter at 86%. Makes 2 of those 3. She's 7 for 8 from the stripe already in the opening term. Reed. Late shot on the buzzer is good!
Oh my
Sammy
goodness.
Whitcomb, you can't keep her down all.
We're playing for a basketball system. It's all intersport. There you go, $600. Outside the circle.
It's not in her nature to reject it and go back door like it was Samuelson last year. Whitcomb wants the ball. So again, can I stand in the flight path and make her go really wide and sloppy? And now we're easy to guard with. If I'm here somewhere and she's along the line, that's a nightmare.
Let's all guard for each other, right? Rotations fly around. Keep going.
Again, love the pace. Provided we can get a rebound in the terror screens, the early plays are great. Now again, if we do get stuck playing 5 out, no issue, as we stressed at practice. That one there most likely won't be.
Well, you do everything right. You prevent Sammy Whitcomb from getting the ball in her hand, and somehow she still comes up with 5 points for the term on the back of that buzzer beater from the sideline as the clock expires. What a freak she is.
Just remarkable. I mean, that's what scorers do, right? And I think that was what's ironic about it all is Patrick spent most of his time in that timeout talking about how to defend Sammy Whitcomb. So you couldn't have defended her any better, but that's just it. She walks across half court, she's a threat.
Sometimes she's got to say defense was good and the offense was better. It's a 7-point game. The Lynx with a fantastic start on the road as they look to bounce back from Sunday night's 24-point loss. It's 30-23 in favour of Perth. Great performance at both ends of the floor.
It really is, and I think, you know, one of my keys to the game was foul shooting. Can Perth get easy points through foul shots? And they've done that. They've gone to the line 15 times, so credit to them. They're finding ways to get points and keep the scoreboard ticking over. 13
points in the opening term for Amy Atwell, 9 for Annalee Maley, while 8 for Ruth leads the way for the Fire. Sammy Whitcomb, as I mentioned, now with 5 on the back of that remarkable 3-point buzzer beater. So we get set for second quarter action. Perth with a chance to join Townsville again at the top of the table tonight. If Townsville win, they kick 2 games clear as we start the run towards the playoffs. So a big swing one way or the other this evening as the top 2 teams go at it on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford, Jason Bennett alongside Kelsey Griffin. As we start the second term, Chipatoni, good child, where's the contact and finishes.
That's a tough finish, and that's not normally what you see from Mila Goodchild. She's usually a 3-point shooter, wants to stop and pop, but really strong finish to the basket.
Perth got out to a fantastic early start in the opening term. Jumped out of the blocks, led by as much as 10. They're up by 9 right now. Maley hits the floor. Roof against Morell. Zatina from long range in game 100. Zatina Akuzo, who's now 4 for 16 in her career. from long range.
And she's worked on that shot. That's something that I've seen her make in the offseason, and she's, got the green light to shoot it wide open, feet set. She can knock it down.
4-3 ball in 100 games for Zatina. Good child from the corner, responds.
And that's what makes Perth dangerous. Previous play, she turned the corner hard off the down pin. Next time, feet set, 3-point shot.
They trade buckets from long range, and it's back to 9 points. Reed and Goodchild. Steph draws the contact on Cipollone. Got the screen from Akuzo, and she's just got such quick vision, doesn't she? Identifies an opportunity. When she sees it, she goes for it.
And I think surely Shannon would have talked to her in the quarter time about getting downhill, finishing, looking to be a threat, looking to be a scorer.
Talk about the ever-ticking minds of Shannon Seabohm and Ryan Petrick. Megs was in the Townsville huddle at quarter time. Megs, what did he have to say?
Well, he did talk about that to Steph Reed, and the message was pretty simple. Snap out of it. He said Perth were doing a great job at keeping Townsville out of their stuff, and they needed to get on the front foot. But it was Sammy Whitcomb who launched a rocket on the eve of quarter time, and then she delivered one to her team, breaking them the round kitchen.
Thanks, Megs. Strong leaders in that Townsville franchise, and to be able to bring in someone like a Sammy Whitcomb to complement veterans. They've got a really good blend of youth and experience, which you need in championship teams.
Absolutely. And that's something on that previous play, the adjustment. I expect Townsville to pick up their ball pressure in the full court against Perth's guards.
Heavy work off the ball as Goodchild and Woods come together. Foul on Miller. Woods with the screen.
That's tough when you're up trying to defend and don't hear a screen coming. You can often run right through them.
Goodchild continue their battle. She looks, draws the defense, can't finish. Smart play from Steph, just couldn't quite execute.
That is, and those are the shots you'll live with.
Maley. Cipollone. Woods in her face. Gets to position. Nice finish. 100th game last week for Alex Cipollone.
She's gotten really good at that mid-range jumper in the backing smaller players down. She's made a career of being able to do that.
Woods against Maley. Zatina to Reed. Nice work. Again, it doesn't finish. So Townsville just not quite getting things to drop at the offensive end at the moment.
Yeah, they're getting good looks. They just can't finish on them.
Annalie Maley, much like Steph Reed at the other end, she sees an opportunity, and even just a one-on-one, a chance to put her opponent on skates, she'll go for it every time.
That's it, and I think that's when Maley's most dangerous, is when she's in transition, has a head of steam.
Along with number 10, Emily Potter.
Steph Reed always out of position there, and Maley looked to exploit it. Game 100, Annalie Maley is into double figures. Leads the league this season with 9 double-doubles, just having a really consistent year. Been asked to step up into a more prominent role in the absence of Erie McDonald, but that suits her just fine. Certainly has the skill set and the capability. So 13 for Maley, 13 for Atwell rather, 11 for Maley, 8 for Ruth at the other end. Reed, creative once again. Zatina doesn't finish this time. Missing a lot from close range at the moment, the Fire.
They really are. Those are all the looks that Shannon would be wanting his team to get. And you'd almost say the Lynx might be getting out of jail, that the Fire just aren't finishing those shots that they historically do.
So Perth leading it by 11 points. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday.
Who's going to sign? Put it up. Time to cage the Lynx is good. Fire up Townsville.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, New Year's resolution.
Right. Yeah, right. Hey, we're looking like deflated. We're just missing layups. We're getting good shots, right? That will turn. We've got to focus. Hey, we've got to go strong. And then defensively, right, they're playing with great pace, so we've got to have better ball pressure, right? But then off the ball, be in the gaps more, right? We're showing them so much driving space, right? We've got to be more disciplined with that, okay? Keep them on the 3, contest the ball, get the rebound, then we can get a couple of transition baskets, right? Let's go 31 down for Sammy next time, right? 31 down. Here we go. Good, here we go. going, buddy. Keep being confident. You're right. Keep being confident.
Restore, refresh, recharge.
To about ESPN WNBL Wednesday night doubleheader. Part 2 coming to you from the fire pits. The Lynx leading 39-28 early going. Second term early tonight. The Boomers coming from behind to see off the Flyers by 6 points and jump back into third position. We'll have more on that game at half-time. Potter to Maley. Back to Emily Potter. Thinks about the give to Chippertoni. Atwell looks to roll to the hoop and does. Tough finish, won't go. Away comes Maley, knocks it clear. Megs, you're in the Perth huddle. Come back to Megs in a moment.
Getting up and after it.
Sorry, Megs, go ahead.
The message from Ryan Petrick was to keep getting up and after it, but good energy and high morale in the Perth timeout. They've also taken the crowd out here at the fire pit, which significant. Kelsey's played here a lot. Can play right now.
Yeah, one of the loudest venues in the WNBL.
Yes, they certainly know how to fire up. I've heard that chant too many times.
Hear it in your sleep. 11-point lead to the Lynx. We had the chance to listen in to Shannon's huddle. We'll get Kelsey Griffin's thoughts on that in a moment. Reed works with the Kuso. Again, another layup that doesn't go. She tries to finish. That won't go either. Third time is lucky. And that was one of the threads of Shannon's chat to his troops. We're getting the looks, we're just not finishing.
That's it, and that's better from Zatina. You know, in previous seasons, she might have got deflated or hung her head. She just stuck with it and weathered it and was able to finish off the play.
Gorman.
It doesn't matter how many times you try to go at it, as long as you finish it in the end.
Harassed by Whitcomb, but it'll remain a Perth ball. So Shannon just commenting that felt his side feels a bit flat, a bit deflated.
Yeah, flat and deflated, and he said, you know, we're getting good looks, we're getting the looks we want. We just got to make them. And, you know, you've been with this group knows each other. They have confidence in their abilities, and just you weather it.
Nicely worked play from the Lynx. Chippertoni to Hannon to Maley for 2. Lead back out to double digits. Kuso. Woods. Get some space, and that's all Courtney needs.
That's it. That's dangerous, too, once she's seen one go in.
Margin back to 8. Maley loses her footing. Ball spills to Chippertoni. Almost banked it. Hannon. Atwell. She almost as well. 2 very heavy shots from long range. And Zatina tidies it up to Reed from Whitcomb, 3-point territory. Cuts inside, weaves through traffic, gets to the rack. Another one that won't finish rather, but there's Zatina. Put it back in.
And that's it. That's that Steph Reed drawing 2, so then they're in rotation, so then Zatina can come in and clean it up. And so that's where it becomes so tricky that maybe, you know, Steph doesn't have the pass to Zatina, but the missed shot then allows for Zatina to clean it up.
So Hannon wore that one in the mouth. Timeout called. This timeout brought to you by CTM Sport, here to transform your team's travel experience. Leave the hassle of off-court arrangements to CTM Sport. They're the experts in sports travel management. You can get the winning edge, ctmsport.com.au. Here's Ryan Petrick.
We're on the court right now, bar the offensive glass. So again, the blue series, you know Reed's going to go body first. Again, guard. If Reed's getting all the way to the cup with it, where's their big? So they're rolling eventually. If you can't get her under control and she gets super deep, veer off and deal with the rolling big. Fine, then I can adjust the big and make the big outside the paint to start with, and then they'll deal at the rim. Right now, snap 4. We good? So set yours. We're good, we're good.
Kelsey Griffin.
Tidying up some of the ball screen defense, so you know, Petrick was able to identify was the O-glass that was hurting him, that was keeping fire in this game. And so essentially asking the big, I think, to come up a little bit closer, not be so deep, to be able to hopefully deter Steph Reed from turning the corner, because I think it was just too hard for the guard to recover, to try to eliminate that deep penetration and clean up the O-glass.
6-point lead to the Lynx. They've led by as much as 11. Led from the opening tip. Chippertoni. Maley gets to a position she likes. Shot won't drop, but they'll get another opportunity. Annalee has it again from a similar spot. won't go either. Roof to Reed. There's that fire-up chant Kelsey's come to know and love. Roof, Reed, lovely inside ball to Zatina. She's been their main avenue in this second term. They're getting it inside, identifying a mismatch. Atwell. Hannon from long range made Kelsey sit up and take notice. It won't drop.
It's interesting in this stretch.
And there's Ashley at the other end getting a hand in. Foul called.
Perth I think what's gotten Perth the lead in this game is running a lot of pin-down actions where they're curling hard and creating driving lanes. They've gone away from that. That was just great recognition by Steph Reed in transition to push the ball.
Let's head to Megs.
Well, Shannon Seabom spoke about off-ball screen switching 1 through 4 and then mentioned a play to his players that I assume hasn't been run for a while because he asked them if they remember it. They said they did, so let's see if they're about to execute it.
So Steph Reed. 0 for 7 from the field tonight. She's now 4 for 5 from the stripe for her 4 points. The margin is 4. 4:40 to play in this second term. Goodchild has it. Tries to get around the corner on Woods, does, and draws a foul in the process.
That was great footwork, great Euro step from Mila Goodchild there, turning the corner. Like I said, known for her three-point shooting, but showing she can put the ball on the floor and get to the rack.
It's been great to see her development. She was part of the GEM squad, the Australian junior squad in 18 and 19, and was a development player at the 5 for a couple of seasons in 17 and 18, played a couple of games, was involved in their championship team, and then went to Duke, which is one of college basketball's absolute top-tier programs, and spent 5 seasons there. As I mentioned, she came back. She's a Brisbane local, moved back to Queensland. No WNBL contracts on the table for her, Kels. Got an opportunity. Chris Lucas rang up and said, hey, we might have an opportunity for you to try out. She paid for her own flight, went down to Melbourne, showed the dedication, showed the commitment, showed the talent and ability. She's worked herself into a career.
And, you know, oftentimes in professional or semi-professional sports, it might not actually be about your ability, but about the situation. You know, she's found a system that really suits her skill set, and credit to her taking advantage of opportunities. And speaking of another player showing off her skill set, Courtney Woods.
A good child got the chance when Lily Scanlon couldn't play for the Boomers last year due to injury. Atwell stripped of it. Mad scramble. Whistles go. It remain a Perth ball, much to the chagrin of the Townsville faithful. Kels, your thoughts?
I was just thinking about how we had mentioned how the crowd had gotten taken out of the game, and they show that they are back in it.
And their team is as well. It's only a 4-point game. 4 minutes to play. Megs, they're starting to find their voice.
Oh, they are, and they're starting to find the cowbells, guys, because I've moved position down towards near the Townsville bench, and I've got one just hanging over my earlobe, and we'll see how long that lasts for, because I've got pretty quick reflexes.
We want less cowbell. Good child. Potter. Another good inbound play. That's a couple in a row now, Kels. They've managed to land.
And those are great. When you can get sets off of sidelines and baseline plays that result in quick, easy scores, that really adds up over the course of a game.
Whitcomb. Expansive pass to the corner, and Woods goes bang!
That's a great read. When you're seeing the overhelp, you know, Z ducks in, overhelp off Courtney Woods. Great recognition by Sammy. Great skip pass.
Back to a one-possession game. Townsville working their way back into it nicely. Maley, Potter, huge 3 for Goodchild. Good shot.
And that's great recognition again, finding the open shooter. When the defense collapses, when there's 2 that go to 1, somebody's got to be open.
Great response, and it's back out to 6. Whitcomb blows past Atwell. And suddenly, both these teams have stepped it up a notch.
That might be the easiest look Sammy gets all night.
Atwell with Whitcomb for company. Back to Goodchild, who's starting to get involved. Foul called on Zawi B, hanging off Potter.
And that's another way to try to create overhelp is inside presence. You know, if you have a big post presenting so that the weak side thinks that they need to help in case there's a lob or to help in off the post move, then that weak side corner becomes open. So ways that you can get your shooters open looks, penetration, but also post presence.
Entertaining game, first versus second. Fascinating tactical battle as well. Plenty of points. Both teams approaching 50 as we head towards half-time. Foul call, whistle goes Townsville's way. Zawi B.
Was that a little flex? She flexed a little on that rebound?
Yeah, she's just moderately happy with it.
Things you love to see. It's always a good flex. You know, basketball game's going well if you see a good flex.
Good child warming to the task. You can see her growing in confidence. Had a tough night on Sunday night, did Miller. But tonight she's found her range. She was 0 for 8 from the field and 5 turnovers, but tonight she's doing a great job as Sammy Whitcomb drops in another 2. She's up to 9 points, starting to look dangerous. 10 for Woods, 9 for Akuzo, 9 for Whitcomb. Ball in dispute, and away comes Courtney Woods. Good run from Brown, and she finishes. Great support from Cassandra Brown.
And that's huge coming off the bench, those easy transition points. That's the tricky thing with early shots in a shot clock. If you get it stopped, defense or offensive transition down the other way, easy basket.
And the Fire have tied it up. This timeout brought to you by Cygnett, Australia's #1 digital accessories brand, continuing to power the WNBL. Visit cygnett.com. What's Ryan Petrick got on the board?
Usually, a whole bunch of fluff into that, into the handoff. Again, the final screen she comes off, I can't have a big way down here because we're going to lock and trail it or she'll flare. So if we're locking and trailing, my big can't be way down there. Need to be at the point of the screen. And again, if she curls it, be in the path she's trying to run into. If I'm too low and she gets it early, now again, blah, blah, blah. So that's a 22 floppy type series. Offensively right here, I want to be in snap 5. Snap 5. Let's go.
Our resident translator, Kelsey Griffin.
Again, talking to his bigs about where he wants them helping off. That time it was turnout screens. So often when there's, you know, a screen on the block, we call it a turnout, the big's helping. And if the big's too flat, they can curl for an easy jump shot or they can flare. So he just wants the big to be a bit more aggressive, help out the guards a little bit more off those turnouts.
Megs was with Shannon Seabom.
2 minutes and 21 seconds. This is our time to finish off this second quarter and hit the front. At halftime was the message from Shannon. They're going at Amy Atwell here to close out the second half.
Scores level with 2 minutes to play in the opening half. Whitcomb, always within range. Runs in a Potter.
And
Travel called.
And that would have been what Petrick was talking about. So he wants his big there to be able to help and kind of absorb any penetration or anything coming off of screens. So that was the adjustment that he was after for Potter to help out the guards.
Sammy through traffic and then ran into the brick wall of Emily Potter. 195 centimetre Canadian.
And they're making it tough for Sammy. I mean, I think the only easy look she had was the reject screen rip baseline for a layup, but otherwise Sammy's seeing 2 defenders all night. So
that buzzer beater at quarter time was a...
I think there's still 2 people on her on that one.
Yeah, there was. 3 people over from the sideline hanging on to her as well.
Yeah, tough. Just tough, making it tough. But credit to her, she's finding a way.
Chippertoni against Woods. Alex with a more prominent role. Goes to clinch Hoycard. She's stripped of it. Akuzo, Brown, Whitcomb, now Reed. Woods heads left to the corner. Steph knows she's there. Over the back foul on Brown.
And that's the tough part with Townsville. So when Zatina's rolling to the rim, do you help bump that screen so Reed can't pass it into her? But then you're helping off Courtney Wood. And I think, fortunately for Perth that time, Courtney Wood missed the shot. But that's the predicament that Shannon always puts you in when you're playing against Townsville is, do you help on the roller or do you help too long and then you give up a 3? Or if you don't help, then Steph's going to find the roller.
Into the bonus with 86 seconds to play in the second. So Annalie Maley will head to the line. 13 points. 5 of 6 now from the stripe. So she leads the game now with 14. Atwell's got 13 and Goodchild 11. So they're sharing the load nicely. Woods has got 10. 9 apiece to Akuzo and Whitcomb, 8 to Ruth, all in the first term. The Lynx back up by 2.
And that's the 21st free throw for the game for the Lynx, so I have no doubt Shannon will be addressing that at halftime from his team. Can we be disciplined and play defense without fouling? Because it'd be a very different game if you took away half of those looks.
Reed to Akuzo. Now Shields to Brown. Pressure from Gorman. Whitcomb being harassed. Foul called. Steph Gorman, foul called on the 23-year-old from Wodonga. Another to go over and get college experience. Utah State and San Diego, 4 years of college. Has come back. A nicely developed player, an elite defender, and an exciting prospect at just 23 years of age. Kels, a lot of basketball ahead of her.
100%. It's great to see these college athletes coming back wanting to play in the WNBL, and then it's where that development then goes from there, you know, that you really want to see and you get excited about.
1 point game. Alex Cipollone has it. Reed in her pocket. Tries to get rid of Steph. Thinks about the inside ball. Goes to Maley. Atwell leaned on by Whitcomb. Foul called.
That was interesting. That's a different play. It's about 3 ball screens in that play. We've probably seen about three ball screens for the whole half of basketball. So switching it up a little bit, Petrick was. It's tough there for Sammy, trying to fight over the top, not give Amy an ounce of daylight.
Another spoke about coming back from college and in a second year in this league and just coming on in leaps and bounds.
You wouldn't know it was her second year.
She's got future Opal written all over her, doesn't she?
100%. 100%.
Reed, Kuzo, 2 other exciting emerging Opals. No call. Now they play the 2-man game, or the 2-woman game in this case. Reed to Akuzo for 2 more.
That's dangerous if they get that going, and that might be an adjustment that Shannon looks to go to in the second half instead of running middle on balls, which historically Townsville does because of where the help can come from and you can get your shooters going. If you go to a wing on ball and empty out that corner, then the drop pass becomes so difficult to guard, and so might be an easier way to get Zatina going. Potentially a little bit easier of a finish instead of over the front of the rim. You've got a little more backboard to work with, but historically not something Townsville does all the time, the wing on balls, but effective that time.
Scores level again. Fire yet to lead the game. Perth led by as much as 11. Clinch Hoycard. Atwell back to Mack. Nice step. Gets Kuzo off her feet. Can't finish. Away comes Reed. Shot clock and game clock synced up. They can take the last shot if they want it. Steph identifies that now.
She had about 5 people pointing at the shot clock, so that was great team recognition.
She gets past Cipollone. In a normal situation, she'd go on to the rack. Wants to chew up as much time as possible to prevent Perth getting a shot at the other end. Works the veteran and finishes.
Wow.
Super from Steph. And maybe a chance, not another buzzer beater, to the specialist. Oh, it doesn't count. This time it's Reed on the buzzer. But for the first time tonight, Townsville lead. They trailed by as much as 11 points. Stuck to the system, kept grinding away. And at halftime on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, the ladder leaders lead it by 2, 54-52. Here's Megs.
It's nice to carry some momentum in when you had a terrible half.
I am with Sammy Whitcomb. Sammy, Shannon said at quarter time you were asleep. How did you wake up?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we were on the back foot. I think they came out more aggressively than us, which you never want. So I think it was just being sharper with that, handling the pressure, getting on the front foot a bit more. I thought defensively we had to get a few more stops too. So
you were just saying off air, you've got some momentum now. You've got to continue it. What else will be the message at halftime?
Yeah, I mean, I think again defense for sure. I think we missed a lot of easy shots. Like that's going to happen. But if we can lock in defensively, then I think that those will eventually fall our way. Hopefully we have to stop fouling. Like we fouled every other time. It felt like, and on 3, it's just not smart basketball.
Well, you've taken the momentum into both breaks off the back of some big shots. You made the first one, and that one was a pretty good one to send you in. So we'll let you get into the rooms. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Megs, with Sammy Whitcomb. Everything you'd hope for in a first versus second game. Second get out early, first drag them back. The Fire with their noses in front at the half, 54-52. Our WNBL Wednesday halftime show coming up, thanks to Ford. Half-time at the Fire Pit in Townsville, ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, brought to you by Ford. First versus second, top of the table clash. Townsville with the chance to go 2 games clear on top if they can win. Perth with the chance to join Townsville at the top of the table if they can win on the road. Jason Bennett alongside 4-time WNBL champion Kelsey Griffin. And this one, Kels, everything we could have hoped for. It was a 24-point blowout on Sunday night, but all those points came late. It was close for 3 quarters. So interesting to see what, again, happens in the second half tonight. But tonight, Perth got the perfect start. They jumped out to an early lead. Credit to Townsville. They've hauled them back in and somehow got their noses in front at the half.
They did, and a ton of credit goes to Perth and the adjustments they've made between the two games. They've gone away from ball screen offense, which is what they've prolifically been scoring on this whole season, and went into a really aggressive off-ball screening, curling hard, aggressive offense, aggressive in transition. Went to the foul line 20 times and a half of basketball. So you can tell that they were on the front foot from the get-go. But credit to Townsville and their championship DNA. They know how to come back, they know each other, they know how to play and get back into it, and that's what they did.
So in the two camps at the moment, what's Shannon Seabohm saying to the Fire?
Well, I think he was frustrated with their lack of, I guess, preparedness to play from a mental standpoint. You know, he thought that they looked a bit flat and they weren't really aggressive, and so they changed it around in that second quarter. And so he'd probably be saying, we made hard work of this. You know, like when we play how we did in the second quarter, we're a really good basketball team. So I wouldn't think that he's overcorrecting too much, but probably addressing some of the areas that he wants to clean up defensively. But if you're Ryan Petrick, you have to be so happy with how your team's come out, played hard and adjusted between the two games.
Rebound count 27-16 in favour of Townsville, 11 O-boards for the Fire, and second chance points 14 zip. Big factor in this game. Obviously, they're dominating glass. And the other thing about this that's amazing is Townsville is shooting at 45% field goal percentage for the season. Somehow they've got it to 46 at half-time, even though it felt like for a period there nothing was dropping.
Exactly, and I think it's almost like you expect Townsville's never going to miss. Like when they play, because they're so methodical, they get great shots, you expect them to never miss. And so they're showing that they are human, but then you look at the stats and they're actually shooting better than their average. So in a lot of ways, if you're the Lynx, you're really happy with where you're at. But if Townsville, you're like, hey, I think we can actually still play better, and we were able to dig ourselves out of it.
Earlier tonight at the Boombox, fifth playing third in a critical game. The winner would consolidate their spot inside the top four. And what an incredible game this was. The Flyers jumped out to a 9-point lead early. Melbourne fought back and tied it up. Flyers got out to a 13-point lead in the second term. Melbourne could not make a three-pointer literally in the first half. They were 0 for 12 from long range, and it was the Flyers by 11 points at half-time. They got up by 13 in the third term, and then suddenly everything changed. Melbourne found their range. They were 5 for 8 from three-point range in the third term, Kels. Got their noses in front and went on for an incredible 6-point win, which has lifted them from 5th to 3rd.
Huge. And in the scheme of things, this is a really big win because of head-to-heads, and I think where this season is probably going to finish when it's all said and done, head-to-head is going to be important. But this is almost becoming what you expect from the Boomers. When it's a close game, they are great at finishing it out. And Jordan Canada is such a fun basketball player to watch, a true professional. She lets the game come to her. She puts the team on her back when she needs to. She facilitates when her team needs her to. And, it's just so great having her out here.
18 points for Jordan Canada tonight. Just had that poise and composure when things weren't going well for the Boomers to just settle things down and keep them and let them find their rhythm again. Mon Conti, 17 points, a career high for her tonight. And you can just see her developing and blooming in front of our eyes. Now she's getting more opportunities. She's getting more consistent minutes, and she's starting to pick up the tempo and the level.
And you always knew she was going to come and defend hard. Like, Mon Conti has always done that her entire career. She'll come in, she's going to dog the ball, she's going to tire out the opposition's point guard. But when they really needed someone to heat up and to actually keep going to that three-point shot, because essentially Southside just kept collapsing, she was there and she kept shooting, but also Sarah Blitzhaz came big in that second half.
Townsville by 2 points over Perth at half-time. ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, third quarter action from the Fire Pit next.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Annalie.
And we're here with Lachlan and Zara from Ford Aussie Hoops.
Let's go have some fun.
Yeah.
What was your favourite sport when you were younger?
Basketball, obviously. Do you play other sports too?
No, just
You're a hooper. What's your favourite subject at school, guys?
Math, PE.
Oh,
Math and PE.
What's 2 plus 2?
4.
What's 2 times 2?
4.
There we go.
I don't want to stop.
Do you believe in magic? Did you know that I'm magic?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I can do many magic tricks.
What's your favourite thing about basketball?
Oh. Friends.
Do you get fouled out a lot?
I do.
Yes. She also gets a lot of tech fouls.
I don't get tech fouls.
I thought you were going to say the fun.
Yeah, the fun and the friends.
But the friends make it fun. The people you do it with make it fun.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's go shoot some hoops. Come on.
Yep, the friends make it fun. So register for Ford Aussie Hoops. Fantastic supporters, Ford, of WNBL Wednesdays on ESPN. If you've got youngsters aged 5 to 10, then log on and register. The perfect way for them to get into basketball, AussieHoops.basketball. Speaking of friends making it fun, Megs has got friends all over the place in the WNBL. She's caught up with one courtside.
Well, it's become my injury ward for the Opals over the last few weeks, Jace. Spoke to Steph Talbot, Christy Wallace, and we were here with Alice Cygnett to get a bit of an update on how she's going. AK, it was 3 weeks yesterday post-wrist surgery. How are you tracking?
Yeah, pretty good. It's coming along really well. Had a really great surgeon. Everyone's really looked after me really well. So feeling super confident I'll be back on the court really soon.
How soon are we talking? Have you had a look at the fixture?
I have had a look. Let's just say how long's a piece of string. Could be short or long. Yeah. But no, it's tracking really well. They're really happy with it. I'm hoping to do some ball handling this week and next week. So yeah, just day by day at this stage, which is pretty good.
And they've kept you in the Opal squad too, so hopeful for Brazil in February?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I should be back by like the start of Feb, probably end of January. So I'm really hoping for that, and we'll see what happens. And I know I haven't played a lot of basketball, but we'll just see what happens. But grateful to be in that squad, absolutely.
Well, we can't wait to see you back on court for Townsville and the Opals soon. Alice, we'll let you get to the bench and get Townsville over the line here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks to Alice, thanks to Megan. It just speaks volumes about the depth of the Townsville Fire. They've got so many weapons that they can afford to lose a gun like Alice Cygnett mid-season and keep rolling on.
That's it, and they haven't really changed what they do, whereas you look at Perth, they lose Ari McDonald, and they have to completely change their system.
2-point lead. Make that 4 as Akuzo doubles at the start of the third term.
That was smart by Shannon. He knows that they're not helping off Sammy. Sammy sets a little rub screen, and Z gets all the way to the rim without any defense on her.
Some important minutes here for Perth to hang with Townsville. The Fire with all the momentum heading into half-time. Perth just need to weather the early storm here in this third term. Just settle the game back down, get into a rhythm, stay within range. Atwell puts it on the floor, had the move on Roof, but lost the handle. Whitcomb found it. Tries to turn Gorman around, gets herself some space and drains it.
Oh my goodness. All right, so Sammy's clearly come out and said, you know what? I'm going to get some threes up.
Just like that, it's a 7-point lead for Townsville. Didn't lead until the dying stages of the first half. Trailed by as much as 11. Atwell to Potter to Maley. Good test now for Perth. Can they get back into their rhythm? Things that were working well. Maley. Make that drop, it hits front iron.
That was better defense from Townsville. Perth was a little more stagnant. There wasn't as much free-flowing cutting and attacking to the basket. That was a far more perimeter-dominant offensive set from Perth.
Roof to Reed. Inside to Akuzo, and Zatina's been a weapon tonight. She's been a real handful. She's up to 16 points.
And Steph Reed attracted 3 people. 3 people collapsed. She made the easy dump pass to Zatina.
Gorman. Shibatoni. Spin move on Reed. Steph gets a hand in to try and disrupt it. Alex stuck to the play and finishes.
That's really tough. You know, if you give anyone, 8 dribbles to get from the 3-point line to the key without pain, that's really tough, but tough finish from Chipotoni.
Roof to Reed. Here's Steph identifying. Corner shot. Roof makes it. 3-ball corner pocket for Michaela.
She looks to the bench and lets him know about it.
Maley to Chipotoni, and it's a 10-point game. Perth needs some composure on offense. They need some shots to drop. There's 2 for Annalee.
She really likes that mid-range game.
So from a Perth perspective here, what adjustments can they make? What stops can they get? Reed over the top. And an important stop there for Perth. So composure and poise required right now for Perth. If you're Ryan Petrick, what are you saying to your troops?
Well, I think it's going back to what was working, and that was getting feet in the paint, points in the paint. It wasn't playing this perimeter dominant basketball. Setting really good screens, curling those screens hard, but I mean, credit Townsville, they've made some adjustments in how they're choosing to defend that.
Chipatoni puts it on the floor against Reed. Help defense comes from Whitcomb. Ball in dispute. It's still there. Foul called.
And that's better help from Townsville. So it's really hard if you're a smaller player to get back down from the three-point line if everyone stays home, whereas Sammy dug in that time, Zatina dug in. They didn't just allow Steph to get back down from the three-point line.
Collision there with Emily Potter. Zatina spins away, grabbing at her arm or her wrist. Maybe she caught one in the face on the way down, actually, yeah. As we head to Megs.
She's knocked her forehead there, Zatina. It did look like she copped a poke to the eye, but she's shook it off and had a word to Potter now, and all's good on the Western Front.
She's heading for a career game at the moment. Career high of 21 points against Bendigo back in 2020. She's up to 16 right now with 7 minutes to play in the third. Having a real impact tonight. Zatina Rakuzo, one of the adjustments that Townsville's made, and it's been effective. Woods was looking for Zatina again. That was great defence. They stuck to the task, Maley and Atwell, and they came up with it.
That was knowing the scout. That's knowing that Courtney Woods likes to use her body to be able to create separation and just stayed strong.
Maley drew a crowd, and Potter punishes.
And that's tough. When your center can pick and pop and make those mid-range jumpers, that makes it so much harder to defend pick and rolls.
Gaining back to 6 points. Critical couple of minutes here for Perth. They've stabilised the situation a little. Woods. Here's Roof, always dangerous, manages to come up with a dagger at the right time. Brilliant work. Reed behind the back. Zatina, not quite.
But that's beautiful basketball.
Look out, Reed's closing in. In fact, it's Whitcomb closing in on Maley. Chipatoni. Critical scrimmages right now. Atwell tries to shake Reed. Brilliant from Amy Atwell.
Man, that's tough. That is tough. She makes it look so easy.
Great from Perth. They're back in it. It's a three-point game, just as it was looking like Townsville was sneaking out to a handy lead. Woods works with Akuzo. She draws the foul. Frustrated Emily Potter throws her hands in the air.
Judging by the crowd, it might have sounded like she might have got something for a little extracurricular talking. But that's that wing pick and roll. So it's really hard to help when you clear out that ball side corner because you've got Courtney Woods coming off of it. She's a great shooter, so the big things they need to step up and help. If she does step up and help, then you've got the dump pass to Zatina, who can finish essentially at the rim without having to dribble. And so really all the help has to come from the middle, which makes it really tough.
And that dynamic changes even more Townsville's way now because Emily Potter's got 4 fouls. So she's sitting on the bench. So Zatina's career night is getting ever closer. She's up to 17 now. Career best of 21. And she's having a real impact in a career best season. We're seeing Zatina Rakuzo emerge before our eyes. Chipatoni. Maley will take on Zatina. Gets help from Roof. Back to Alex, and now Annalee. Alex is open. Rainbow three. Comes up short.
And, you know, that's one of those things where Amy's just hit one. Do you go back to the player that's just hit one, especially a hot shooter like Amy Atwell? So I think the thing is with Perth, yep, you want to be aggressive, everyone be a threat, but can you look at who's actually scoring the points and ticking the scoreboard over?
Ruth working on Maley. Does it beautifully.
Just took her time, was poised and finished.
It's back out to 7 again. Atwell, it's short, and away comes Woods. Townsville putting the hammer down once again. It's a 9-point game. Just like that. The Fire in control again. They lead it by 9 on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday.
We've got our JCU band for the letters of the game. Thank you, everyone who popped the letter in the letter letterbox out in the foyer tonight. We get some great letters.
Oh, haven't we ever?
Every time we score, they just run it down our throat, and we're playing catch-up. Lock in. Like, you go to FIBA, right? Melee. You go to Melee, right? And then you guys match up with the other two, okay? No, go under. Go under the screens, all right? She just missed one, right? So go under, give her a gap, keep you on the big, right? Is everyone okay with that? So now you can contain Melee on the dribble because she's just attacking every time, right? Make sure, though, we're in the gaps. She's going to run it down our throat every play, right? Next play, right? 22, right? 22. Good, here we go. Bye.
I wish you a great day and I hope you had a good Christmas.
Great to have you with us for part 2 of ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford. It's first versus second. The Fire leading the Lynx by 9 points. 5 minutes to play in the third. Megs was with Perth.
And it was Annalee Bailey, the captain, who led the timeout and said this is what happened to us against Townsville in the second half last week. They need to lift their energy here to avoid a repeat of that performance. And Kelsey, you spoke about Tage Morrell being ready. Well, she was ready on this road trip, not knowing if she was going to play or not. She's now played a tick over 4 minutes, and that's going to increase because Emily Potter, as you mentioned, Pace, is now on 4 fouls.
Thanks, Megs. Tage fouled there. We listened into Shannon's timeout. Kels, what did you take from it?
Oh, he's really wanting the emphasis to be on their defensive transition. So once they score, really getting back and building a wall, knowing that Maley's going to want to get her head down and try to get feet in the paint.
Here's that quick release again from Atwell over the defender. Nice job from Goodchild to come in for the O board, and it remains a Perth ball as a result. And they're the kind of hustle plays Ryan Petrick's looking for.
Absolutely, and if you know your shooters are going to shoot, then you can crash the glass and try to get those easy follow-up points or extra possessions, really.
Maley won't drop. Here's Morrell doing her work under the hoop. Away comes Reed. So 18 for Akuzo, 13 each for Whitcomb and Roof, 12 for Woods. Sharing the load nicely, Townsville. 18 for Atwell, 17 for Maley, 11 for Goodchild for the Lynx. And here is Maley. Go ahead ball, Gorman. Got some options, Goodchild. Front iron. Nice job, Maley. Somehow found it and finishes. Important 2 points.
Very
back within 7.
Very important, especially if you're going to be shooting quick transition threes. If you can still compete on the O glass, that's huge.
Whitcomb. Akuzo's open. She's still open. Roof thought about it. Sammy draws a crowd, leans into Gorman. To the corner, Woods puts it on the floor. Past Atwell, but runs into Maley. Great defensive work there from Perth.
That was much better defense. It was staying home in the one-on-one matchups, trusting your one-on-one defense, and a really good, smart switch by Maley and Atwell in that play.
Back to Maley, 7-point game. This one delicately balanced. It was 5 points of difference with 7 minutes to play on Sunday night, and Perth was blown off the court in the last 7 minutes. 27 points to 9 in favour of Townsville. They put the foot down. That's what Annalee was referring to at that timeout. She said, that's what happened to us Sunday night. We can't let that happen again.
And that's Townsville. Like, you think I'm in it. You have a 2-3 minute lapse, and they put 15 points on you.
Reed back to Woods. So many weapons, not this time. Maley to Atwell. Can she get some space on Whitcomb? Uses Maley. Goodchild. First step, gets around Woods. Nice move to the left. Townsville ball.
It's a bit of a frenetic pace happening right now, so it'll be interesting to see. I reckon Townsville will walk the ball up, get into a set, see if they can get their defense to collapse. Probably get into a pick and roll, I'd say. They've gone back into some middle pick and rolls. It'll be interesting to see if they choose to go to the side pick and roll and empty out that corner.
Good help defense there from Cass Brown coming across, getting the hand in. Akuzo to Woods to Brown. Whitcomb versus Gorman. Now Akuzo working on Morrell. Tage, her first game since 2019 at this level, WNBL. Of course, she played a lot of NBL 1 around the country. Woodville, Southern Tigers, Joondalup, Lakeside. In fact, her husband Dave coaches Joondalup. They knocked out Ryan Petrick's Rockingham in the preliminary final of NBL 1. Ryan hasn't forgotten.
And that's a tough matchup. You know, your first WNBL game back, you're having to play against Zatina in the 5 spot. You know, a bit undersized, but she definitely matched her physicality there. Unfortunate probably to get the blocking foul. But that's what she's going to need to do to be able to help this team out.
Tina Kuzo's played 20 minutes, takes a rest, 18 points on 7 of 15 shooting. Whitcomb works on Chipotoni for 2. Just relentless Townsville. They just stayed with you for 4 quarters. There's a double dribble on Chipotoni, and they look to punish every mistake.
Every mistake, and that's where Townsville's so tough.
Reed and Goodchild continue their battle. Screen from Brown. Reed was just waiting for the contact.
And that's what's so hard about guarding Steph Reed is she comes off ball screens and she cuts you off and she draws contact and she lulls you into thinking you can get back in front and she cuts off the screener, and so it's so tough to defend her in a one-on-one. She draws so much attention and then often makes the right read coming out of it.
Mila just full throttle to try and make up those couple of steps, and Steph knew she was coming, so she just stopped her run. Smart again from Reed.
Yep, and the breakdown, I think, in the ball screen scheme, Perth had been keeping their bigs deep, and there just was no one home there.
Maley draws a foul at the other end. As Shannon Seabohm said earlier, you know Annalee Maley, every time she gets the ball, if there's any opportunity, she's going to drive hard to the basket and either score, foul, or get her own rebound.
And what's tough about that is, you know, Maley's playing the 4 for Perth, and so oftentimes your 4 men aren't picking the ball up full court, and so she can get this head of steam, and you're picking her up at the 3-point line, and it puts you at your defense at a disadvantage, makes you reactive, and so yeah, credit her and playing to her strengths.
Mixes courtside as Maley heads to the strike.
Touched on Amanda Zoe B working with Zatina a bit earlier in the game, and she was working with Zatina on an action a couple of weeks ago in the lead up to the Southside Flyers game for about 10 minutes. That's all the time they spent on it, and Zoe B said she then took it into the game the next day and did that action on Lauren Jackson. So she is really impressed with Zatina, and she's just coming to the game to give Zatina a rest.
Thanks, Megs. Isn't that wonderful for Zatina as well to have a seasoned veteran, the 30-year-old Amanda Zoe B, who said 235 WNBA games, to be able to learn from every day, to go against at practice. Here comes Maley again. Against Zoe B. Not quite. Off hands. Should be a Perth ball by the looks.
I think that's one of the joys of being a veteran, is getting to, you know, help the next generation figure it out and learn from your mistakes and try to pay it forward. And then when, you know, selfishly, when you see them go and actually practice it and execute it in a game, it's special. It's certainly special.
Speaking of special, Reed, the pass, Whitcomb, the finish, just absolutely brilliant from those two. Goodchild bounces off Reed, draws a crowd, out to Hannon, Forster, Atwell, guarded by Woods, puts it on the floor, drives the lane.
Tough finish. And that was hard. You know, that was leaving Courtney Woods in a one-on-one matchup against Amy Atwell. She thought she was up and in, so she, you know, drove past. Everyone kind of stayed a little bit of help there, but it was late, and Amy's just too long, too tall, was able to finish up over the top.
Substitution for your team, the Townsville Flyers.
Well, we'll go to the line. She's up to 20 points tonight. Only behind Annalee Maley with 21. She joins her now on 21. Whitcomb. Here's Brown. Back to Sammy. Being harassed by Forster to the corner. Nice footwork from Woods. Got herself open.
That's interesting. Perth coming out in a zone, trying to change up the defense. I wonder if they'll go, if that was a free throw situation, if they're going to go make and miss and just try to get Townsville a little bit out of rhythm offensively.
Brilliant from Whitcomb. Strips Forster. It's got support. Goes herself and finishes.
Just won't be denied. She can feel it. She can feel the momentum swinging and just putting her team on her back.
Quite early. Well held as they locked her down, denied her shots. Somehow she still got to 19 points on 7 of 9 shooting. And here's another look at her defensive work as well.
And that's just recognizing the moment, being aggressive. Just won't be denied. It's great recognition by Sammy Whitcomb.
10-point game, 38 seconds left in the third term. An important 38 seconds. Big basket here for Mila, and she makes it.
Jeez, that's a tough shot. Jab step one way, turn around, behind the screen, shoot that three. That's tough.
Can they now get a stop? They've got it back to 7 points. Woods feeds Roof, back out to Courtney. Extra pass, this is Saffron Shields. Back to Courtney. Turnaround shot from Zawi B is superb.
Jeez, that's a tough shot too. This is just great offense on display.
Atwell will shoot from long range, won't go, and Roof will come over the top. Is there time? Not quite for Woods. Won't count, gets waved away. And the Fire lead it by 9. They trailed by 7 at quarter time, up by 2 at the half. And they've extended that to 9 points as we turn for home on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford.
The ball up, don't let her get it back, right? But just be careful she doesn't run past you, right? So stay here, deny it, and then like once she gets it, softer gap, and we'll stay there, right? Just got to take away that pace, right? With this group, if we're in reverse and you're in the corner, back cut and go into the Spain every time. Okay, cool with that? Yep. Yeah, right? Hey, otherwise, let's play...
Now again, early on in that quarter, a lot of 0 pass or 1 pass, ISO rubbish again. Same way we got down in the first game here. Second part of that quarter, lots more body movement, player movement, and suddenly there's driving lanes wherever the hell you want them. So that's good. Defensively, again, if they're in their reverse series or usually it's Roof, trying to get into the dribble handoff stuff. Again, if we're going to top lock Whitcomb, no issue. If she goes back door, where's X5? Like, we know how we're guarding this. X5, I don't care if they lift their big early. They're hoping they suck us in to do the same thing, and now is that for a layup? And now she's making fancy BS layups and everything else. Where's that X5? Go tag the crap out of her. Cool, my foul, she goes sideline. So, there's that.
Three-quarter time at the Fire Pit on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday, thanks to Ford. The league leaders in this top-of-the-table clash lead it by 9. Kelsey Griffin, we sat in on Ryan Petrick's timeout at three-quarter time. What did you make of it? What worked? What didn't work for them? And then what did?
Yeah, he was critical of their offense, saying we were going to isolation basketball heaps, and that's what got them in that position in the first game, whereas in the first half, they were moving the ball, they were coming off screens, they were curling hard, getting points to the paint. Defensively, he was again calling on his big. It seems that his center is the crux of his defense, and he's saying if we're going to top lock Sammy, we need you to be there to help. So if she's backdooring, it's the big man's help, so she doesn't get layups.
Megs was listening to Shannon.
Emily Potter's on for foul. Zoe B will guard her to start this last quarter to the starting lineup for this final term as Saffron Shields takes a break.
Thanks, Megs. 9-point game. Can Perth hang in here, just grind away, get close and make a late run. Good child against Reed. Gorman. Forster. Back to good child. Growing in confidence, Mila. Won't go this time. Almost knocks it away from Zawi B, who gets it to Roof. Reed, good child again. Zawi B comes across to lay the screen. Thought about the feedback. Goes to Roof instead. Now to Zawi B. Baseline shot is short. Over the top came Brown. Got a hand in. Kept it alive for Roof. Zawi B. To Reed. Another screen. Weaves her way through and draws a foul. So smart.
So smart. And that's I think even when you've played in this league and you know what Steph Reed's about to do, it's so tempting as a big to want to body up and try and block her, but she just baits you into that blocking contact, and she usually gets it.
And Emily Potter out of the game. It's what they were looking for. She sits with 5 fouls, Megs.
Yeah, she does. She lasted just 50 seconds, very frustrated tonight, and certainly coming from the court, and it looked like she received a tech on her way out.
Upset.
But that's
Emily
also
Potter.
great recognition from Steph Reed or Shannon Seabaum to realize, hey, she's got 4 fouls. She's a big piece to what they want to do defensively. Let's go at her. Let's attack her. Let's put her in positions. Either she's not going to be aggressive because she can't foul, so it'll be easier to finish, or she's going to be aggressive and we can potentially get her out of the game. So really heads-up play.
Just looking exasperated on the bench. Emily Potter, 28-year-old Canadian. It's part of professional sport, Kels. Some nights just aren't your night. They're frustrating nights, and you just have to sit there and stew on it.
Oh, isn't that the truth? But you can be a great teammate, right? So you have a choice. You can either check out, be upset, or you can talk to people on the bench, talk in timeouts, let them know what's happening, and actually try to help wheel your teammates over the line, even if you can't be on the court.
Hannon. Morrell. Townsville ball, 12-point game. Perth trying to hang in here. Ryan Petrick talking about how his centre is the crux of their defence. Well, they just lost their first option in Potter, so Tage Morrell, who's in her first WNBL game since 2019, now has to step into that role. She's going against Zawi B. You just know they're going to start going to the bigs a lot more.
Absolutely, that's where their strength is. And Townsville's a no-ego team, right? Like, they don't care whose night it is on any night, and that's also what makes them dangerous. They see an advantage inside, they go inside.
It's a big night for Kuzo with 18 points, and now Amanda Zawi B's up to 9, so they've got 27 points out of their 2 bigs tonight. Emily Potter's got 8 for the Lynx and is now fouled out of the game.
And, I mean, you look at the point differential in the paint. Townsville's sitting on 48 compared to 18 for the Lynx, and, you know, those are just higher percentage shots more often, except for if you're talking about free throws. So, you know, Townsville's had a clear emphasis to get points in the paint.
Gorman just grazes the iron and Ruth tidies it up. So some composure here as the lead gets out to 14 points.
And this is, you know, where it's tough. If you're Perth, you're feeling like you have to win every shot, make the big shot, make the big play. The game's not out of reach. There's still a lot of basketball left. So can you get great shots? Can you get better movement off of the ball, create some of those attacking drives, get your feet in the paint, get to the foul line? Or are you going to settle for perimeter shots? And then Townsville has opportunity to extend this lead.
A couple of fumbles from Reed. Great pressure from Gorman, and she'll be rewarded with 2 points.
And that's what they want. That's exactly what Petrick would be wanting from his young players coming off the bench, playing pressure defense.
Reed weaves her way through traffic. Somehow feeds it to Ruth, who just pulls it out of the congestion to keep it alive. Zawi B. Reed pops it over the top, slapped away from Brown. Nice defence there from Chipotoni. Maley, good hand in there from Zawi B, and the turnover comes to Woods.
This is what you'd expect from Townsville. Settle it down, slow it down, run a play, get the look they want.
Offensive foul as Atwell hits the floor. Perth ball against Amanda Zawi B. Her third personal. It's the screen there, just slightly on the move. What'd you make of it, Kels?
Ouch, those hurt. That's, you know, you're a guard trying to fight over a ball screen, and you get a corky to the leg, a knee to the thigh. That hurts.
Maley. Chipotoni. Gorman. Maley. Hannon. They say, go shoot it. She says, no, I'll take it myself to the rack for 2.
And that's great patience from a young player. Show a shot fake, react to the defense, poised to finish.
And they'd sagged off her to, you know, take the shot if you want it. Smart from Ashley Hannon. Lovely from Whitcomb. Zawi B, good defence. Atwell touched her on the way out. So it'll be a Townsville ball.
Zawi B thought there was a bit of contact on that drive, but
One of the call on Atwell.
Yeah, she could probably make a good case for it too. It's tough.
Woods to Zawi B. She might come up with the 2 in the more traditional manner. She does.
And that's some great touch. That's tough when your bigs are able to make those floaters, little jump shots around the charge circle.
She's come off the bench and had an impact. Been really impressive.
You can see her confidence is just growing as she understands the league and gets to play with her teammates, builds chemistry.
Tony to Maley, spins through Brown. Finishes. And 1. Worked hard as always, Annalee Maley.
Yeah, and she's going to be aggressive until the final siren goes, and that's what you expect from her. You know, she plays all 40 minutes, plays hard, loves that turnaround jumper in the paint, absolutely loves it.
23 points for Maley, 23 for Atwell, 14 for Goodchild. While Whitcomb's up to 19, 18 for Akuzo, 12 each to Reed, Woods, Ruth in there with 13 as well, and Zawi B with 11. So plenty of players on both teams in double figures tonight. Both sides really sharing the scoring load. That one short from Atwell. Off to Whitcomb as we head to Mex.
Well, I spoke to Zoe B for ESPN, the article online today, and as Kelsey said, the crowd's just gone wild here at Townsville. As Kelsey said, she's settled into the league, but she's been through a lot the last couple of months. She was in Israel when the initial attacks happened, and she spoke about the anxiety that she had here on New Year's Eve with the fireworks going off because they resembled the sound of the missiles and the bombing. So she's been through quite a lot, but she's really happy and settled here in Townsville, and that's showing on the court.
Yeah, it was a wonderful article, Megs. Well done on the ESPN website. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Traded 3 times in a year and finished in Israel and has now come to Australia. Well done, Cass Brown, another of their imports from Canada. She draws the foul. So she's played in 16 countries, 8 years in Europe, and then Amanda Zawi B's played in 10 countries around the world. Kels, it's great not only for their own personal development to come to Australia and play a different style of ball, but be able to school the other Australian players, particularly the youngsters, and just be able to sponge and suck up. You throw in Whitcomb and Roof as well, so much knowledge there.
Absolutely, and I think, I don't know, I guess speaking as a veteran, selfishly, it gives you more purpose than just the game of basketball when you can, you know, help the next generation find their way or figure out what their style is going to be or help with little tricks or trades of the trade that you found along your way. So it's great that she's embracing this role coming off the bench and really finding her joy playing here.
Margin at 16 points, game high. The Lynx led by 11 in the first half. Thanks to Forward Aussie Hoops, great supporters of ESPN's WNBL Wednesday and the perfect introduction of the world of basketball for kids aged 5 to 10 years. Aussie Hoops Basketball to register.
Oh, we're going to have a timeout instead. Okay, fair enough.
Will be a timeout taken now, called by Ryan Petrick and the Lynx. So it was interesting coming in tonight. We knew Ryan Petrick had some new stuff that they needed to develop at both ends of the floor without Erin McDonald. And the question he said that they debated internally is, do we start to roll some of that stuff out tonight so we get tape and data to look at? Or do we hold it back and we use it against Adelaide and Canberra? And they've obviously, from what we've seen tonight, decided to roll some fresh stuff out.
Yeah, and boy, wouldn't he have some data. He would say when we did it well, it worked really well. Then when we chose to go back to our old way of 1-on-1, 5 out, we really didn't get the looks that we wanted. So he could probably make a very good case to his team. When you buy in, it works.
Here he is.
You got whatever the hell you wanted. But first time down the floor, they're set up perfectly building a wall, trying to play a 1-on-1. Move it. Action, action, action. It's not to knock them out early, it's to loosen them. And then you can get whatever the hell you want. Right here will be an away series, there's a side out. But again, off a miss, run, layups, threes, find 5 out. Let's go.
That timeout brought to you by the official WNBL app, which is here. Don't miss a minute of all the action, live scores, highlights, all your player and team info and more. Download the free WNBL app today. It's fantastic. The league deserves it, and they've got an app now to be truly proud of. Pick it up at the App Store for free. 16-point game, just over 5 minutes to play. Hannon to Goodchild. Their stuff out of timeouts tonight has been excellent.
Brilliant. I mean, that was a great misdirection. Sammy was in 2 minds. Do I need to help on the back screen? When she helped just one step, Mila came out, was able to get a turnout wide open 3.
Woods thought about the inside pass. Instead, she goes to Michaela and might not. It just rolls around and won't drop. Goodchild puts speed on the ball, takes on the defence, finds a lane, and Mila Goodchild having a great night. It's really good to see after she had such a tough night on Sunday. Shows great resilience and character, Kels.
Absolutely, and that's what Ryan would want out of a timeout. His team responded, did exactly what he asked of them, and that's helped them to get those looks.
Woods with an elite step on Atwell, but couldn't finish. Maley runs into Roof. Go-ahead pass, good child, another step. And a little hesitation move, won't quite go this time. So in the long run, losing Erin McDonald certainly hurts in the short term, but getting extra minutes in the likes of good child could in the long term serve them well.
Well, and potentially find two styles of play. So can he sneak some rests for McDonald when she does come back and have them still be a really big offensive threat?
Michaela knew that was good from the moment it left her fingertips. Again, she's just done her job tonight. Hit her spots. Up to double-figure points. She's got 16. Gorman. Brown at the other end. Pulls down the board. Whitcomb, an unobtrusive 19 points, if there's such a thing. Just going about her business. Lovely feed from Roof. Woods couldn't hang on. Atwell keeps it alive and then tosses it away. Guess who? Michaela there again to do the little things. She feeds Woods. Brown tries to keep it alive. Perth ball.
It's just what you expect to see when Roof's on the floor. She just comes up with those extra possessions for her team.
Ash Hannon done some nice things tonight. 22-year-old from Mount Gravatt, Queensland. Played a basketball at Southwest Metro Pirates. Went to the Centre of Excellence in Canberra. Went to Texas. Didn't like the college experience. Came home. Aubrey Wodonga, WNBL 1. Fiona Robinson, bronze medal with the Opals in 1996. And Ashley Hannon showing some great signs tonight. Chipatoni, Morrell, Atwell. Takes on Woods. Draws a foul.
And that's what Petrick was talking about in his timeout. He said, look, push and transition. Can we get a look? If we don't, then get lots of action and then attack late. He said, when we attack early, the defense is set. There's a wall. It's harder. It's one-on-one. I think he was calling it one-on-one garbage. It's not what he wanted his team to see. That's the one-on-one that he wants. It's out of rotations. It's after the defense has had to shift side to side. It becomes a lot easier, or the defense becomes more foul-prone.
Amy Atwell.
Having a great night, Amy Atwell. 25 points, averaging 17 a game this season. 12-point margin, under 3 minutes to play. Reed to Akuzo, one-on-one with Morrell, spins. Wants to keep it alive. Back to Roof. Gonna have to put the shot up. Does put the shot up. Woods, and one! On the buzzer. Talk about making something out of nothing.
And I guarantee Nick Roof in this huddle will be saying that was a pass. I guarantee it.
That's an assist off the glass from Michaela Roof. Just how they drew it up.
Just how they drew it up. And the interesting thing when you look at this scoreline, you're like, oh, well, you know, Perth's found their offense. They're in their mid-80s. That's what they want. But they've also increased the possessions in this game. So Perth plays with a lot of possessions. But Fire's been able to convert, and so that's why you see this scoreline.
Courtney Woods, great college career at Northern Illinois. In her 4th season in the league now, Megs, and she's blossoming beautifully.
Oh, she is, and she's another example of a daughter in the league whose mother also played in this competition. We know the WNBL could be viewed anywhere these days, and her grandparents back in America are watching every game, including this.
Should be very, very proud of their granddaughter. She's having a fine year. Her side leads by 15 points with 2.5 to play. Chipatoni to Morrell. Looking for her first points in the Lynx uniform. Tage waiting for permanent residency. Hasn't been able to play because they already had 2 imports in Potter and McDonald. But with Airy out of action at the moment, that's created the opportunity for Tage. But when that permanent residency comes through, she'll be able to play as an Australian, so that just opens up roster opportunities, both at Perth and elsewhere.
Definitely, and I think, you know, for their Perth, their post lineup, their rotation, anytime you can add depth in that spot, so important.
She makes her first 8 games for Bendigo in 2019. Averaged 2 points, 3 rebounds a game, coming in as an injury replacement that season. Great to see her back in the league. 2.25 to play. Fire by 13. Reed and Goodchild continue their battle. Roof to Whitcomb, back to Steph. Miller presses and fouls.
That's probably what you want. Obviously not the foul, but that aggressiveness. You don't want Steph Reed to get comfortable. And so you have to get up in and pressure, but then it's also hard because once Steph gets ahead of steam going downhill, it's really hard to stop too. So it's always a predicament how you're going to defend Steph Reed in a ball screen.
She receives the inbound from Woods. Some movement here from Townsville. Whitcomb, beautiful. Akuzo, Roof, perfection. And they bring up the ton in fine style.
Beautiful ball movement. Great unselfish basketball.
And now an offensive foul as Akuzo commits the body. Up to 18 points. Personal best of 21. Send the word to Shannon. Feed Zatina in the last couple of minutes in her 100th game. Get her to 22. She's been outstanding tonight. At a time when early in the game, they were needing a lift. They were needing a different look. They were needing some avenue to the basket, and she provided it.
She did, and like that's what Townsville does. They'll go to Zatina for a while, and then someone else will get hot. They'll go to them for a while, and then they'll go back to Zatina. And that's why you have to play 40 minutes of great defense in order to put yourself in a position to win a game against Townsville.
She cut to the hoop, and Woods went looking for her there, but was knocked away. So it's Operation Get Zatina 22 points. She needs 2 baskets. Wouldn't put it past Shannon to know that 21's her career best. He's got everything else covered. Here's Whitcomb from long range. Forster off the rebound from Hannon. Goodchild will have learned an enormous amount going against Reed tonight. Chipatoni. Out to Goodchild, who puts up the 3 ball and makes the 3 ball. Mila Goodchild up to 22 points.
I don't know if there's a system that fits Mila Goodchild better than this Perth Lynx. Being a shooter, having a coach back you to be able to shoot those threes. You might not say, oh, that's an early shot, or is that a shot we want? But she's made it. And she's made it consistently throughout, and just great to see her thriving under Ryan Petrick.
A career high 22 points for Mila Goodchild, eclipses 18, her previous best. Shields in the corner. Zatina won't put up the 3, but does lay the screen for Woods, then gets the feed, kicks it out, Shields, slight fumble, puts some pressure on, got to get the shot up, does. Away comes Goodchild. Final minute. 13-point margin for the Fire. Nice work, Goodchild gets Morell a couple of points. Well done to Tage Morell. He's had an impact coming off the bench, 7 points for her in her first game since 2019.
And she's only going to get more comfortable the more minutes she gets. And there's lots of games coming her way.
Packed schedule in January. This is Jess McDowell-White into the game. Back to Michaela. She makes something happen. She's got 5 seconds. Just puts it up. Why not? Everything else has worked for her tonight. Brilliant from Michaela Roof.
And she'll tell you she practices that shot. She'll say she practices that shot all the time.
Chipper will bounce it out. And the Townsville Fire win 9 in a row over Perth. They go 2 games clear at the top of the table. The reigning champions firming as the team to beat once again in 2024. Next up, they head to Victoria. They'll play 3 games in 7 days. The Spirit in Bendigo this Sunday, followed by 2 games against Melbourne at the Boombox next week, while the Lynx will head home to host the Lightning this Sunday. It's full time on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Townsville 104, Lynx 91.
And for me, just looking at the stats, Townsville was able to shoot 75 shots that game. When you give a team that's so potent on offense as Townsville 75 possessions, it's going to be really hard. And conversely, the Lynx only had 61 attempts. So it's really hard to be able to stop a team when you're giving them that many more possessions. But I reckon Petrick will walk away from this game really happy with some things he saw from his team, especially in the first half, their ability to get better ball movement, but then be disappointed where there's lapses. But that's what happens in basketball. It's a game of runs. And when you have championship DNA like Townsville, you know that they're going to come back. They're going to make adjustments. Shannon Seabaum's a great coach. He's known for doing it, and they were able to do it in the second half.
So many weapons and just so evenly balanced. 21 points for Ruth, 19 for Whitcomb, 18 for Woods, and 18 for Zatina Rakuzo. A double-double for her with 10 rebounds, and she's with Megs.
She sure is. She's just asking for a towel. Happy 100th game, Zatina Rakuzo, and what a win.
Yeah, it was huge. I'm really proud of the girls. It was huge for us to start the new year like that. So, yeah, super pumped about it.
Are you pretty proud of yourself too? You've played 100 games with this club, 100 games in the league. You've developed from a rookie, learning from the best in the business, Susie Batkovic, to now being a leader on this team and making a huge contribution.
I couldn't hear a word you said, but all I have to say is I'm really proud of the girls, and I'm super grateful to have played all my games here at Townsville. I love it here, love the community, love the club.
Now you're on a 9-day road trip after this. You're heading to Geelong to play Bendigo on Sunday. I'm going to stand on my tippy toes. It's a bit hard. And then you've got Melbourne twice next week. So it's a big road trip, but you've got an important pair of wins over Perth heading down.
Yeah, absolutely. This next 9 days is huge for us, and we got to move on, make sure we watch some film. See, there's a lot of things we could still improve on, so yeah.
How fun is this team to play on? We know you won the championship last season, but the common theme is you're all smiling. You're smiling when you're making shots, when you're making blocks and coming off the bench to this amazing crowd.
Yeah, it's huge. Shannon's about people first before players, and I think he's put a great group together, and I'm super proud of the girls.
It's been nice sharing your sweat on your 100th game. Well done.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks to Megs, thanks to Zatina, congratulations. You grew up in Brisbane as the 7th of 8 kids in a proud Samoan family, played volleyball till the age of 15, then took up basketball with the Southwest Metro Pirates, could dunk within 2 years. Plays a 100th game tonight. The Fire winning at 104-91 by 13 points in the end. As we look ahead to the games to come in round 10 of the WNBL. It continues Friday night as the Flames hunt 4 straight wins over the Lightning in Adelaide. Then Saturday night, it's the Flyers chasing 6 straight over the Lynx at SBC. Triple header Sunday, tipping off huge series decided between the Flames and the Boomers in Sydney. Townsville on a 3-game winning streak over Bendigo on Sunday, and then it wraps with the Lynx winning 7 straight over Adelaide. They will meet on Sunday afternoon. Kelsey Griffin, your closing thoughts, the Fire 13-point winners.
I mean, they do what they've done. But I think tonight, showing they have 6 people in double figures, it's really hard to stop a team when you have that many potent scores. So I still don't know what the recipe is, but hopefully I can figure it out on Sunday.
They go 2 games clear at the top of the table. The reigning champions' title defence is on track. And that wraps up ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Thanks to Ford on